Yes. Actually, I'm gonna.
Do you think everybody in the hotel could hear us? They're like fucking Americans.
We're recording, right?
That looks like a record button to me.
Cool.
I brushed my teeth before coming here, and then I drank the Red Bull. Now I feel gross.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Because I wanted to smell good for you guys.
Oh, thanks.
Oh yeah, I just realized I haven't brushed my teeth in like 18 hours.
No, we all noticed.
And I'm gonna talk a lot. Is it really bad? I can go brush my teeth real
No,
quick.
no, I haven't smelled anybody's breath yet.
Do the show, please.
On that note.
Literally.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome to the Inside Gaming Podcast for September 25th,
Hello and welcome.
episode 27.
Where are we?
We are
What's
in.
going on?
We are in Mexico,
Oh, I knew it.
celebrating Mexico Day
Oh yeah.
with all of the Mexicans.
Lawrence, you gotta stop trying to be funny.
That's not me trying. I'm
Don't
just-
force it. You're in the United Kingdom. Be serious,
Oh boy.
please.
Yeah,
This is not a show of funny. This is a show of serious topics.
Yeah,
too.
And then we just bitch about video games for an hour.
I think people have interpreted whenever I'm not 100% absolutely serious that I'm trying real hard all the time. At any rate,
You have a cube on your mic.
Oh man,
Gross.
we haven't slept for like
That's gonna pick up.
2 days, so this is gonna be a very fun
Speaking
podcast.
of-
Let's do it.
speaking of pubes,
Go.
Yeah.
we are sponsored by NatureBox.
No, that's not. Doesn't work. Our sponsors really. I don't think they like that.
They don't know.
I don't think they like that.
That's
No,
the beauty
don't
of
say
it.
they don't know. Wait.
They do know that.
Oh, Jesus, Lawrence.
Go ahead.
If you'd like a giant bag of pubes, sign up for NatureBox.
All right, you know what? No, we can't use that.
No, we're not going to.
Yeah, are you gonna cut that out?
No.
He's not gonna cut it out.
That was wasted the entire intro.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Do the Nature Box intro.
Let's redo the show.
So it was actually very successful, the last NatureBox promotion we had, and we're doing it again. You can go to naturebox.com/inside to get a box of free treats. Let's see here. They say featuring 5 of their most popular snacks.
Such as.
You're baiting me here. I can't do it.
Like what?
I can't. Can't. No, Joel will get mad.
We're not baiting you. Tell us what the actual snacks in the box. What kind of delicious mouth
me
nuts do you have in that box?
Joel.
For me.
You're talking about nuts now.
There are nuts in the fucking free thing. They're delicious.
Yeah, they're really good.
I could kind of go for some nuts right now.
I know, I could too.
So if you'd like some nuts, go to naturebox.com/inside and get your free sampler box today. Thank you, NatureBox, for supporting the Inside Gaming Podcast.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Okay, now that the ear test is over, do you have any idea how hard it was for me to not say a giant bag of pubes when you were asking about various snacks? It was pretty hard. We're on to your first discussion topic today.
No filter on this man.
I mean, I feel like at some point we are going to get feedback and they're going to be like, no one wants to advertise with you anymore because of that guy over there.
Pubes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm still hungry though.
Go ahead, Lawrence.
It was like right up my nose. How was I not supposed to talk about it? Today's discussion, Steam's pretty big, everyone.
How big?
100 million registered accounts.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's a lot.
And
100 million?
yeah, 2,300
That's like-
games, I believe.
That's like almost half the population of the United States.
No.
Yeah, it's like 330 million, right? In the United States?
circa like 1995, yes.
No, not 330 million people. Hold on.
Yeah, great. Okay, well,
Continue this discussion.
yeah. So some interesting problems have arisen out of that. Namely that Steam has opened the floodgates on the games they allow on the service. They used to be pretty picky.
Yeah.
They have ceased to be as picky with the green light early
Which
access.
we love, by the way. We like playing shitty games.
Yes, it is.
So it's
Steam would never publish a shitty game. What are you talking about?
play Airport Simulator. It's the greatest game in the world.
It's
So broken.
certainly been a boon to us, but
Yeah.
it has caused an issue where players are not finding games as easily anymore.
Huh?
Because, well, if you just jump on Steam and you're like, I would like to buy a fun video game to play,
Okay.
you're going to jump on there and see a bunch of dating sims and, like, crappy first-person shooters from 2007.
I like to jump in and say, Bruce has found that the population of the United States of America is 314 million people. He said 100 million people is like half the population.
I said
When it's
almost half.
almost half,
almost half.
less than a third does not equal almost
of a
half.
bitch. I said
At any
almost half, and it's
Less
not less
than
than
a third.
It's not less than a third, you
It
dick.
is less than a third.
No, you douche.
Whatever.
100 million is less than a third of 314 million.
I said
Okay.
almost half.
It's not even near almost
150.
So
would
if
be
you babies
close.
are done bickering about stupid numbers, here's the really interesting discussion point. To help people discover games and buy them, obviously, they're adding a recommendation engine where, based on the games that you play and the games that your friends recommend, they will hand-pick games for you to buy. And when I read that, it immediately popped out to me as, oh, they're inventing a new promoted space to sell to publishers. And Valve is really good about a light touch. You know, it won't be something like, yeah, you can buy all 5 slots and we'll just cram it full of whatever game you want this person to see. I think it'll be more like, if this person has a track record of liking racing games and your racing game has like a decent Metacritic and it's not like a busted-ass game, you can throw us a little money and we'll make sure that your game appears on more people's lists. Something
I
like
see
that.
what you're saying.
That's what I envision, and again, I don't know, but the business person in me says that's probably how it's going to work.
Well, I also kind of feel like this is in competition with the Humble Bundle, where they always have like certain YouTube personalities will do a certain bundle. I saw on someone's Twitter feed they were showing that like a few games were recommended to them via Total Biscuit. So like Far Cry 3 is like, Total Biscuit enjoyed this game. You should check it out. And this is something that we've been talking about for a very long time. I thought Microsoft was kind of getting the jump on it with Xbox One. Sony as well, with the sort of thing of like, watch what your friends are playing, and then, oh, your friend's playing this game, why don't you just buy it and play with him, that sort of thing. And Steam is definitely jumping on that bandwagon right now, but like you said, using a much lighter touch. And I don't think they're trying to push the sales side of it so much right now. I think it's more of a publisher can talk to a big Steam user like Total Biscuit and go, we will give you X amount of dollars to recommend our game.
Wow.
Keep the controversy.
Well, I think so. Sony's already doing this right now on PS4, where they're like, well, you like this game, we're going to download this other game for you, and then you can try that at some point. Like, they're already sort of doing that. Do you think Steam will ever get to that point where they're like, recommendation will
They'll
actually
just download the
download things
game
for
for
them?
you?
Yeah.
No, I think that goes against Steam's philosophy on really letting you choose what games you want to play out of that vast library, and especially I'm going to tie 2 really loose ends together here, especially with the recent U2 iPhone debacle of everyone just waking up and having U2 albums appear on their computers and getting pissed off because it sucked. I think everyone would have learned a lesson from saying, oh, we don't want to automatically make someone have something on their hard drive that they don't want.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it, like Steam, one of the things I like that Steam does is they let you opt into things. So like the original streaming service, the family sharing, all those features were opt-in features, like beta testing. So if they integrated like Steam Roulette or something like that into Steam, where it would randomly just download a game for you every day, that would be kind of cool. Because so many people just buy games in droves, essentially, like whenever there's a sale. I mean, like, I bought the game Grid for $2.75. I have yet to play it.
Because it was $2.
Oh, I'm like, it will never be this cheap again.
Grid's pretty good.
That's what I hear.
Racing game.
But it would be kind of cool
That's
if Steam said like, hey, we notice you haven't been playing a lot of games, and like, what's the problem here? And you're like, well, I'm just not feeling it right now. They're like, well, we have an algorithm that will help pick the game for you based on what mood you're in today. It's almost like a mood ring.
Like the Netflix thing.
Yeah. What's the Netflix thing?
Oh,
Well, like,
Jack or whatever, Max.
Yeah, whatever they call it, like where I mean, obviously, Netflix uses your ratings of movies and TV shows and content to suggest other pieces of content that you'll like. And now they also have this like personality that's like, oh, not in the mood for this thing. Why don't you try this, you dumb dipshit?
It's very you don't know Jackie.
I was thinking that Steam would do something of the sort where, like, for example, they have a recommendation engine, and you say, look, I want games all under $5, and then you tell me which game I should download for under $5, and then it gives you a like basically preview code. You play the game, and then like, buy this for $5. And you're like, yeah, fuck it, I already got it. Why not? Buy it.
Like a Yelp for Steam.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I think that would be really, really cool if they did that, and that is sort of a light touch, whereas PS4 feels a little heavier.
I'm surprised that nobody has actually built based on the ratings and recommendations and reviews on Steam. Somebody hasn't built a third-party Yelp app for Steam. That'd be, for you kids out there who code apps, $1 million maybe idea. Maybe.
So here's a problem. Maybe not a problem, a conceptual problem with the idea you guys are pitching. It seems to create a system where the rich get richer and the poor just stay not noticed. Because say there's a game where nobody's really played it, it's maybe got a few ratings, some people are pulling for it. It can be good, but if it's kind of like the YouTube problem. If you don't hit a certain cutoff, if you don't get recommended to people, if you don't hit a certain watch time, you just have no way of pushing your content out there. So say a game maker makes a game, and some people play it and some people rate it, but it doesn't hit that cutoff to start getting recommended to everyone.
I think as a platform matures, though, you are going to get publications or outlets or apps that specifically focus on that platform. Again, the difference between your comparison of YouTube and something like Yelp is that Yelp allows you to discover small restaurants that you might not know based on your preferences, what your tastes are, what your friends recommend, which YouTube doesn't really. And also location, which, I mean, sure, I guess that would work. How would that work for video games? Like developers from bullshit Idaho?
I mean, yes, regionally in the world, like people gravitate towards certain design philosophies. So if you're a PC gamer and you're like into RPGs, odds are you're probably playing games out of Middle Europe right now. If you really like, I don't know, action games, you're probably going to stay mostly American-based developers. So
I feel like the algorithm would be something similar to what Pandora does, where it's like they never really stick it in all the way. It's always like very much the tip. So like I'll be listening to like, I don't know, 90s trance. I'm like, okay, give me some old Paul Oakenfold. And then so subtly they'll just be like, don't you want some dubstep? And you're like, no. And then it goes, okay, sorry, didn't mean to do that. And then like 2 weeks later, like, hey, how about that dubstep again? Also, I have this weird theory that Pandora is just always trying to stick dubstep up my ass.
your butt.
It's always in my...
It knows you like dubstep.
I don't
just like it.
ever
Let it go, Adam.
want it.
So what my theory is, because I've seen that on Pandora too, I don't think that that's Pandora like trying to twist it. I think that's because people that listen to trance eventually start thumbs upping dubstep.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's like if you're playing a lot of Stomping Land, if you know, if it ever comes back to Steam, or like, you know, all these different games, you go like, you know, you might want to try Rust. Like Rust, and then you go like, I don't like Rust. Or like, well, you might want to try the Forest. You go, I love the Forest. And then they're like, oh, then you should try all this other bullshit.
Rust again.
Yeah. Here.
Oh.
keep pushing Rust in your face.
Maybe Rust. Well,
Yeah.
see, that's kind of the dark future that I imagine, and it's all up to Valve because they have to protect the integrity of this system.
No, of course.
Even though we're making all of it up, but say in the case of Rust, say you try it and you don't like it, but then Rust cuts Valve a giant check, and that kind of re-ups its status in the recommendation engine. Like, let's get this out there in front of people again.
Well, I don't know. I think that's going to come down to, actually, I think it's going to be a cool, not collaboration, I can't talk right now because we've been flying.
Collaboration.
It's a combination of like Pandora and YouTube, where like watch time and votes matter, essentially, where like, you know, like on YouTube, the likes don't really matter, but watch time does. So what you could start to see with games like Rust is like, how many people are actually getting achievements? That's actually something you could measure. How long are people playing? What's the average play time? What servers are people playing on? Like that sort of thing. And then you can use that.
That opens up a whole new can of worms.
Well,
though.
exactly. But
trying to reverse engineer the system.
But well, the difference is Steam has that information. They have it right there, so they could use it and say, well, this game's selling really well, but no one's playing it. We're not going to recommend it to people.
Hold on. So the question is, does iTunes, for example, or like recommendation engine and Pandora and all that, do they have a system where somebody can actually pay to get their music recommended over other music?
You can pay to have your stuff featured on like the front page of the store.
Featured is fine. That makes sense, and that makes, because I think Steam probably has that right now. They probably have where like a featured spot you can pay for and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I mean, like, do they, you know, like, do you subvert the recommendation engine with more money?
Nobody knows. That's the thing, that nobody explains how it works.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook, I think, weirdly, is the most upfront about it, because you choose pretty much who you see on Facebook and what people you interact with, what you like. You start to see more posts from them naturally, but then all of a sudden, bam, you're going to see some stupid ad from, I don't know, Cost Plus World Market because you did a search for outdoor furniture one day or something like that. And because that's an ad and not something that you specifically sought out, maybe it's featured there. But then if you click on that ad, like, they're like, oh yeah, you like that thing, don't you? You like that?
You like that upholstery?
Well, I mean, what you're describing right there too is like Facebook is huge, YouTube is huge, and they're very similar in that regard. Where like, go to the front page of YouTube, not signed in, and it's like it's just a picture of John Hamm's face, and then 16 different skydiving videos. But then the minute you search for like I don't know, like how to build a dildo, and it's like you get nothing but dildo videos for the next 6 weeks of your life, but then when you like sign in, it's just all a customized experience. So I'm almost positive that's where Steam's going. So you will see, yes, you will see those featured spots. You will see Far Cry 4. You will see Call of Duty. Those will always be front page material because they will either pay for that or those are just top sellers.
But the featured recommended stuff won't look like the things that that your natural choices bring in, correct? Is that what you're saying?
I think what's going to happen is when you start downloading a lot of games like Super Time Force or Mount Your Friends, they're going to start to recognize your patterns. And then, like, I noticed that you play with a controller a lot. So they're going to start recommending games with controllers. And my front page of Steam is going to look a lot different than yours, Joel.
Just like Google.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where it's all going, because you, viewer, you are most valuable in the form of data.
Adam, describe for me the difference between my front page of Steam and your front page of Steam. What does yours look like, and what does mine look like?
Most of the games in my world can be seen from the character's perspective. Yours will be seen from an isometric, possibly a god view.
Ah, yes.
You know me so well.
And there's going to be a lot of Victorian themes.
Oh.
Dragons.
Yeah.
Sounds like the worst Steam ever.
You're gonna
Shut up!
And there's
Steam-powered dragons.
Joel's games have more vowels than my
Yeah.
games.
They're all wise, too.
The Maestry of Hambrata.
While mine's like gun, shoot, kill.
Yeah. Way better.
So here's an interesting question that follows up from what you guys were discussing. On YouTube, a big part of it is understanding how YouTube recommends videos, and they're very transparent about that. Like, we use these metrics to recommend your video, and they say very clearly, do not make your video to cater to these metrics, but consider them in the production of your video. Do you think that once this recommendation engine comes out, if it does, in the way that we're imagining it, do you think that will influence game design?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, like, that would only make sense because I think these recommendation engines, at least especially with Steam, would force developers to make a better game. And it's funny, like we're saying, oh, you got to protect the integrity of the Steam, blah blah blah. Give me a fucking break. All the early access games on Steam are all broken, and Steam doesn't care because they're making money off of it. The developers don't care because they're making money off of it. At this point, they're not protecting any integrity.
If they're really upfront about what metrics they use, if this whole system gets created and they're upfront about what metrics they use to suggest games to you, I think game makers will totally try and game the system. If it's based on, for example, achieving achievements, they can give you a shitload of trophies in the first like 20 minutes of the game. But then Steam will in the same way that YouTube caught on that like it's not just about exactly
quickly root those out. So
and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I also think that it will become too difficult to create a game based on that is fun and playable and excellent from the player's point of view, and also brings in to account this specific needs for this specific platform. People are going to abandon that and just try to make good games, I think.
Yeah, the bottom line is make a good game and then it'll get recommended because people will play it.
Which is what YouTube says.
No,
too.
shovelware that can sell.
Yeah, no, I know, and that's the
Airport Simulator.
That's the problem. And again, I don't think that there is any integrity to protect at this point because there are so many broken games on Steam that people are buying by the drove. So all right, great. That's fine.
I mean, also keep in mind, Valve is a group of 200 people who also design games and make the world's largest PC gaming digital distribution platform. So they want to just create tools that just basically automate themselves. So all they care about is creating the platform that works and just going, you guys figure it out. Like, you can upload anything on here and the cream will rise at the top. That's all they want to create.
And to your point, I think that's why it will probably be a third-party developer or some like third-party actor who creates a kind of recommendation algorithm that you can attach to your Steam account, especially because Valve is so user-friendly in terms of like mod support and like allowing people to do whatever they want with their games.
Yeah. Steam Roulette, check it out.
Are they open? I mean, well, never mind.
All right. Speaking of checking it out, I checked out a certain movie on Hulu Plus lately.
What was that?
That was almost a natural segue.
It wasn't racist. Nice job.
Thanks.
Good work.
Well, give it time.
You're getting there.
Actually, the movie did have some pretty deep racist overtones.
Just tell us the movie.
It's
please.
called Brotherhood of Justice.
What?
Which I knew would be quality because as soon as I started it, it was in 4:3. And it stars two young, fresh-faced men, Keanu Reeves and Kiefer Sutherland.
What? I've never heard of this movie.
No, it's real bad.
That's what Lawrence watches.
Real bad. I don't even remember what I was searching for, but I found that in the results, completely unrelated to what I was searching for. But I saw young Keanu Reeves and Kiefer Sutherland, so I had to click on it. The cover did look similar to Point Break. Had nothing to do with Point Break. No, Chain Reaction. Sorry, mixed them up. At any rate,
Talk about Hulu.
I am. Did you know that on Hulu Plus, all the movies are ad-free, Joel?
Yeah, actually.
All right then.
I did know that. That's good news.
So I was able to watch Brotherhood of Justice without any interruptions.
And how was it?
Bad. Bad movie. But here's the thing. I don't have another point. But then I watched 24 Live Another Day, which also features
awesome.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh, I need to watch that.
And
That's on Hulu?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yep. Then the new run, totally on Hulu, the whole season.
wow.
So far, anyway. But it was weird
Was
jumping
that-
like
was that new
40
season
years of
good?
Kiefer.
It was fucking awesome.
Okay.
I was telling Lawrence, 24 is the best action television show on television.
Let me give you a story real quick. You know how I have this bald spot in the back of my head?
Really?
Kind of. You can kind of see it. It's barely there.
Rotate a little bit.
Well, the thing is though, is because I had a growth on the
freckle there.
Kind of. I had a growth on the back of my head, and the doctors were afraid it could be cancerous. So I got surgery, and they actually removed it. And for a couple of weeks, I was on Vicodin and had a head bandage on. I got through about 4 seasons of 24.
Awesome.
While high on Vicodin, and
Oh,
I think
man.
and I lived in Santa Clarita at the time, which is like kind of north of LA proper. It's like the suburb area, and every time in 24 they refer to Valencia or Santa Clarita as like it's all industrial, and then I think in one season they just drop a nuke on it. I was like, and I remember just watching going, I'm dead.
You're on
And
Viking.
yeah, so good. So anyway, I'm not going bald. It was just a growth.
I have a bald spot on the top of my head too because a kid pushed me on the corner of a sidewalk and it busted my
about
head
Hulu?
open. So I haven't seen. I saw like the first 5 episodes of the first season of 24.
So good.
So I know nothing about this show.
No, it's
but I dipped in on Live Another Day, and Kiefer Sutherland I think doesn't say a word the entire first episode. He's just
he doesn't.
like he's just sitting there brooding,
Yep.
and he's like ready to explode.
It's fucking awesome. That's why.
So I'm excited to continue my adventures in Sutherland.
Oh my gosh. Holy shit.
Joel's leaving.
Joel, we need you for the podcast.
At any rate,
Please come back, Joel.
my idea is to watch one terrible movie every time we have an ad read from Hulu Plus, and I will tell you guys about it.
Oh,
Not a bad idea.
okay.
Actually, I had a similar discussion with my wife about doing a Batman-themed podcast where a guest comes on and we each watch either a part of a Batman film, TV show, or read a comic book, and then we discuss it for half an hour. This is a show specifically for me.
The brother. Oh, just before, real quick,
Uh-huh.
before we go, before I tell you all about Hulu Plus,
Yeah.
the movie ends with Kiefer Sutherland disarming a car bomb. Nope, Keanu Reeves disarming a car bomb,
No.
and then going to a police station.
That's how it ends.
That's it. I've learned that bad movies have no climax at all. It just ends and then credits roll. Hulu Plus is a great service, $7.99 a month. You can start your 2-week free trial at huluplus.com/inside. That's one more week than the usual week free trial you get. Joel's still pissing. I feel like I should drag this out until he comes back.
No, it's fine. We can move on to the next topic. We'll fill him in.
On the subject of me watching bad movies, well, these aren't necessarily bad, but they have over 800 Criterion Collection movies in there.
Oh, wow.
So if you I also have kind of a side goal, not as important as watching bad movies, but I want to catch up on actual good movies.
That's more important than
'Cause
watching
it's
It's a
bad
little more
movies.
important. Yeah.
Because then you need to have that barometer of good films.
Isn't it better to start at the bottom and work your way up?
No, you need to watch the standards first.
Brotherhood of Justice on Hulu Plus. Go watch it.
The soap here smells like peppermint.
HuluPlus.com/inside. 2-week free trial. Go.
Oh God, that smells good.
On to the next discussion topic.
Yes.
This doesn't smell good, or at least the community doesn't think so.
Oh, wow, that was a terrible segue.
He's getting better and worse at the same time. Yeah.
I want it to diverge. That's my goal. All things in life, good and bad.
He's divergent. He's that.
Is that movie that
He's
you watched?
he's the not Hunger
Hey,
Games.
I watched a lot of Secret Life of an American Teenager, and it is weird to see that girl doing anything.
All right.
Yep.
I don't know what these words mean.
Double Fine had a early access game called Space Base DF9.
Okay.
It was like a space-based management simulator. You had little mans, and you had to feed them and give them oxygen and water and stuff, and build out your little space base. At any rate, everything seemed to be going swimmingly, but very recently, they basically slashed all the features they were planning to develop for the game, and they said, okay, we're just going to skip to 1.0 after the next release, and we'll be done. We just have to walk away from it. And everybody's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, there were a lot of features you said would be in the game, and you're just dropping all of them? That's not cool. Basically, they went on to explain, well, the early access sales dried up a lot, and we're not getting the kind of revenue we need to keep spending time on this game. So we're just cutting it where it is. The game is what it is. So it really brings an interesting question which is a little bit different than the normal Kickstarter one. So the Kickstarter is, I give you a lot of money and you just fuck it up and don't give me a game. This is more like, I bought into an early access game and I was promised a certain development roadmap and you have changed it and cut it off. So it's like...
Well, didn't they have like a list of features that were going to put in the game and they deleted all that information?
Yes, and people found it through Google Cache, which is not good.
Yeah.
And what's more interesting is at the project's outset, and this is a quote, they said, "We are not a random fly-by-night indie dev, and we are not going to silently pull the plug on Space Base or any other in-development project. Doing so would be disastrous for our reputation, and it would kill us emotionally." So to be fair, they haven't just silently walked away from it. The deleting stuff, not a good call.
Bad.
Because, you know, once on the internet, always on the internet. But to
Like our nudes.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
To be fair, they're trying their best to explain the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the obvious question here is what Double Fine is doing wrong? When you buy into an early access product and you're given a vision of what the product will be, does the realization of that vision, is that part of the price tag?
Well, I'm curious why they didn't just either A, release the game, make it open source, and say, here you go, this is a game built by the community or by the community's money, you guys take it, or let's do another round of funding and we can actually get development going, rather than saying, well, we tried and we're done, whatever. I feel like the PR messaging is not well. When you don't give people choice, or at least the illusion of choice,
Yeah.
they're going to get mad at you.
Maybe they were afraid of doing like, because I mean, you know, Tim Schafer's known for this, doing another Kickstarter for version 2 of Space Base, and then like he does it and he goes, oh fuck, we needed $3 million more, sorry guys, and then they take all the money anyways. Like that's yet another failure on his part. So it's like, it sounds like with Space Base, they finished the game that they wanted to make, ran out of money, and were like, you know what, honestly, this game's pretty much done. And it's the same with Stomping Land. Stomping Land, they pulled that and they're just like, fuck it, we're done with that.
I think the difference though with like Double Fine Games, and this is not a dig at Tim Schafer in any way, he actually reminds me a lot of Peter Molyneux in the way that his goals and his vision, it's too lofty, and he is born in a time, he was born too soon. Like he should have been born 100 years from now, when the sort of stuff that he wants to do in a video game can be done in a day rather than months.
Right.
Or
Well,
a
to be
year.
fair, I don't think Schafer was actually working on this project. Let me make sure there.
Oh well, either way. I mean, Double Fine in general, because this goes back to people getting mad about Broken Age, about like, wait, you want more money, and like, why's we're the publishers, we gave you money, and now you're taking longer than you said you would. It's like, this has been, you just described every publisher who has worked with Tim Schafer in the last 20 years, because he is. What's the word I'm looking at? He's not a character. He's a
personality.
Yeah, he's
Terrible.
he's one of the few like actual personalities in the gaming industry where like, if you ever talk to the guy, he's very charismatic, and you believe every word he says, and like, he can sell you the best game ever and describe like the best thing in the world, and ends up being Grim Fandango, which is a fantastic game, but like, it's not probably
way,
it's not what he probably originally
They
set
are
out
going
to
to
do.
release the source code.
Oh, good.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's good.
Okay. I have nothing to get mad at now. Not that I was mad about Space Base to begin with.
I don't. I mean, my feeling is if you buy into early access to a game, alpha or something, you should not expect a finished game, no matter how much you pay. You need to understand that what you're basically buying is cake batter, and I'm gonna put this cake in the oven, and I sure hope that the oven's on for the right, temperature at the right time, the right sea level with the right humidity and all that bullshit. And if one thing is off, you're not going to get a fucking cake. But boy, that cake batter sure does look tasty, and they promise it's going to be a good cake. Doesn't matter because you don't have a finished product yet. If this is a concern of yours, you should only be buying finished products. What you're basically doing by buying an alpha or buying early access is helping these studios and developers tinker with the game, in my opinion. Like, you're basically acting like an investor. An investor doesn't always get his money back. In fact, investing money can be incredibly risky, and there are a lot of failures.
Here's the thing. I fall on both sides of this because here's the thing. So if with an early access game, by now we should all know what it entails. We should know that when we're buying an early access game, we're probably not going to get a finished game, and they could pull the plug at any moment, and we lost our $20 to Stomping Land. Like, that's something that we should understand. But with video games, people are used to buying a game that is finished. that like maybe they'll patch occasionally or whatever, release some DLC, but they're used to playing a game that is finished and they paid $20, $25, $30, whatever for a finished game. The industry is changing right now, so I think that there's a little bit of a learning curve with that. However, I think people are validated when they get upset at this kind of stuff because they are used to purchasing a full game. And I know if it were me, even if I knew the risks going in with Space Base, I'd still be like, fuck, man. Why did I give them $20 and then they barely finish this game, you know?
Well, what you're saying here is definitely what, Bruce, to Bruce's point, it's the growing pains of the industry and how it is ever evolving and changing. One of the reasons why I love this industry so much. And what I love about early access is you're getting a lot of shit and you're seeing a lot of crap happening, but this sort of model didn't exist 10 years ago. I mean, maybe even 15 years ago. Like, this is amazing, like, because we're going to eventually get some sort of game that we would have never got because there is a crowdfunding possibility or an early access possibility, which didn't exist before. And that to me excites me. And that's where we're going to get, like, the next Minecraft this way, not by waiting for someone to just make it.
Well, I also think that it gives, we talked about this in a previous podcast, it gives people who buy into these things a view of what it's like to actually be a video game publisher. 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, all these companies were constantly developing tons of games and putting tons and tons of money into games that just didn't go. Like, how many times have you heard a story of, oh, that thing has been in development forever, or oh, this would have been an awesome project, or oh, we've been working on this for a while, but we had to junk it because it wasn't exactly what we wanted it to be, and they're funding right now. That's basically what's happening. You're just seeing that happen now because there's this whole democratization of all content across the board, whether it's movies, YouTube, TV shows, crowdsourcing, Veronica Mars, like all of that bullshit. It's the same thing, and just because you're seeing it for the first time and the failures are affecting you, doesn't, to me, like, I get why you're upset, I get why people are upset, but also my response is, too bad. Like, that's going to happen. It's just going to happen.
The problem is that across the board right now, you can pay $20 for a finished game, or you can pay $20 to an early access game, and that may not be clear right now. Like on Steam, it may not be clear which one you're buying. Because if you see Space Base and you see Double Fine and Tim Schafer, you're like, oh, this looks like a legit game. Like, I'm into this. And then you buy it, and then they don't release all the features. And you're like, fuck.
As long as it's clear, as long as they make it clear, like, this is a technical alpha or early access and the game's not finished and, there's no guarantee of anything, I'm okay with all of that. I have no problem with that. If they lie and they say, oh, we're totally, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Joel, what I love about Joel is he could always go from super likable to the most hated person in about 2.5 seconds.
I got opinions.
With all that said, though, the only Kickstarter I ever gave money to was Broken Age. Because I was like, Tim Schafer, click and point adventure game, here's my $20. Take it, because I was also promised a game. They basically said, if you give us $20, you'll get a copy of the game. I said, that's a good buy. And that to me has always been the successful Kickstarter. So like the Pebble watch, like, we made this awesome watch. It's done. We have it. We want to make more. So if you buy it, we will give you one. This is how this Kickstarter works. And it's like, and if you give us even more money, we'll give you a t-shirt. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. The ones where they're like, some no-name dude walks up and he's like, give me 50 grand because potato salad, or like, I need a fight for games journalism. You're like, really? We're giving money to this now? Like, what's that? Like, I like to actually see a product rather than an idea.
You know who's actually doing this really well? And I just thought of this. Razer. Razer has every year released some sort of interesting, cool concept project where they're like, I think it was a couple of years ago, they had the tablet with the 2 joysticks on the side of it, and they're like, it's a game machine, you can take it anywhere with you. And they said, if 500 of these are pre-ordered on our website, we will make the product. And if 499 are pre-ordered, we'll return all your money. Wow. We'll just like, so fuck it, like, sorry, we couldn't make the product for you. We just didn't have the money. The Blade, I think, is actually, the Razer Blade, the laptop, is actually a product of that, where they released it, everybody thought it was so cool, and a bunch of people bought it, and they actually made it.
They did not expect that to sell as well as it did. And at the price point it did.
Definitely. And that's kind of why I always thought their model was cool, because if they took your money, but if they did not have enough money to produce all the products for everybody, then they're just like, you know what, here it is back. Sorry, we couldn't make it. I really like that model a lot. Obviously, games are software, and that was hardware, so that's where it differs. But but I like that business model.
Well, I mean, like certain games, like Super Hot is a good example, where like they basically put out a demo, So it's like this. I don't know if you've seen the game Super Hot, where it's like every time you move, the characters move, and so you like shoot your gun, nothing will move until you start moving. So it's kind of this really interesting puzzle game. But like, there's like a 5-6 like mission demo, and they're like, we want to make a full game out of this, and it's like, oh yeah, please. Like, if you want to make more of this, like I like the idea of like first taste is free, and if you want more of this, give me some money. And they're like, okay, cool. Exactly. Well, games are very much like correct. So I like seeing the proof of concept first, rather than here's a screenshot of a dragon. Money now.
She's done a lot of research among those dragons.
What the fuck? My phone's dialing? Really?
So one of the...
Who said you could do that?
Kind of along the lines of the fact that this is all changing. This specific instance is really different than Kickstarter or anything else because the continued development on this project was contingent on people buying into the project over time. So the way traditional game dev worked is you got your lump sum of money up front, whether it came from a publisher or from a Kickstarter project. You got your check, and you had a certain amount of time. And you just worked until you ran out of time or money or both. And then it was like, okay, that's it. Game's done. I feel like there's this weird misconception that a lot of people have about games where the creator has a list of things they want, and that list is finite. And once they check off every box, they're like, we did it. Let's send out the game because it's done. No, not at all. It's like we have 2 years to do as much as we can, and then the game goes out whether we think it's done or not. What I find fascinating about this sort of setup means that no matter what, a game will be exactly the size it needs to be for its audience. So however many people buy into it, that's how big the game gets. And if more people bought into Space Base, it would have had more features. But instead, it scaled to its audience naturally, which I find very interesting from like a capitalism standpoint. It basically ensures that the right amount of time and money is invested in a project for its given audience. And you can find that out as you're making it, which is pretty crazy.
Well, Broken Age is kind of interesting, too, because they've been releasing the documentary series, and, like, you see them making decisions. Like, we can't do this because we don't have time. If we do this, we can't do that. And that is more important than this. And they go, okay. And so, actually, the audience kind of goes, oh, wow, that's kind of crazy. I would love to see that with, like, a big studio one day. Like, the next Dragon Age or Mass Effect, where like beginning to end there's a transparent, like, you can actually see why certain things happen because of, they would be just filming everything. That probably won't ever happen, but there's this kind of weird misconception. I think this started with gaming magazines, where I remember every week I'd get like PlayStation Weekly or Monthly or whatever the hell, and they would say the percentage of the completion of the game. And so, like, I just saw a thing recently where they said, like, I think Hideo Kojima or someone asked, like, how much are you done with? Oh no, it was Final Fantasy 15. They're like, how much are you done with Final Fantasy? They're like, we're about 55% done. I'm like, it's not a game download. They're not just like punching a computer and it's like processing game. It's like they're building a world and assets, and there's like and then there's gonna be things they're gonna cut. There is no real percentage. You can't really label it like that.
But there is, like, I mean. Imagine it's like Silicon Valley, which I know you watch. It's like they've got these scrum boards of what, like, the tasks that they have to accomplish, and each of these specific assets, art asset, like pre-production, art assets, coding, hardware if you need it, any of that stuff is all on that board, and you can percentage-wise tell how much a game, like, based on like the ideal finished game, like how much it's done. You can figure that out. It's possible.
Yeah,
now,
I mean,
but a guy like Peter Molyneux or Tim Schafer, who's someone like, oh, and we can do this, and oh, and we can do this, and it keeps changing. Like, I mean, that's a guy like James Cameron, who keeps wanting to, like, or George Lucas, who keeps wanting to, like, bring things in as he learns about them and change the nature of the movie. That's where I think things get really difficult, and that's why people have difficulty working with outsized creative personalities, is because they see things and they're like, that would be amazing for the game. Let's totally change what platform it's being written on, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Actually, what Lawrence described was because you were like, oh, it's really interesting to see the game scale with the audience. Ideally, that's the way it works, but what Joel is saying is correct, where if there's some dude at the helm being like, oh fuck, what about that? And this too, then they keep adding things that they didn't originally pitch for Space Base when people are buying into it, and then it becomes this larger and larger project, and it's not scaling with the audience at that point. It's actually getting larger to what they were buying into, and then more money might get wasted on other things that they didn't actually buy into. Now, I think that's what separates the AAA developers from developers like Tim Schafer. And I'm not saying Tim Schafer's a bad developer. I'm just saying AAA developers set a project, like a perfect example is Assassin's Creed. Every single year, Assassin's Creed, they go, this is what we're going to do with the game. And I'm guessing not much changes for an entire year when they're developing that game, because they're like, it's going to be the French Revolution, and that's as far as it's going to go.
And they assign directors to those games who they know won't go off script. They know
Right.
that it's like. It's why you get to the same Hollywood directors for every single movie for the most part, is because these are the guys we can trust with a budget who we know won't go off script, as opposed to giving a movie to somebody like, who I love Robert Rodriguez films, but there's or Guillermo del Toro, my God, I love his movies,
Sure.
but there's a guy who's just like, oh, and I want to do this, oh, and I want to do this, oh, and I want to do this, and the movie's been delayed for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying overall, I think there's a misconception of how game development is run, and they think that it's just like filming a movie or animating a movie or something like that, or animating like a short film. Like, there's a 3D world you have to build that is constantly being broken and tested, and that has to work in a variety of environments because no one really plays the game the same way twice. So certain games are going to go through specific stress tests, and I've heard horror stories from friends who used to be game developers or work in game development where some no-name hotshot will walk in and be like, "We're doing this now," and everyone's like, "But what about all the fucking work I did?" And they're like, "Get rid of that level." I was like, "But I spent a month on that level. Like, the level's gone." And he's like, "Okay," and this is for like G.I. Joe: Rise of the Cobra or something stupid.
Yeah.
Or there was a story back in the day on like a friend of mine worked on a Matrix game, and one coder or one art developer or whatever you call it, an artist on the game, made a mailbox that ate up too much RAM on the PS2 version of the game, and this was not known that he had a freaking mailbox that had too many polygons in it. And finally, when it came into the final stages, like, what is it eating up all the RAM? And then the one guy's like, might be my mailbox. And they're like, scrap everything! Like, they had to like dig and find where this mailbox was and what was eating it all up. And it was like, there are horror stories like that where it's just like, you as the person who gets the final product don't see any of that stuff. And I mean, we don't see a lot of that stuff. We hear about it, but like, there's like, game development sounds like the worst thing in the world. And I'm actually really glad that we don't actually have to make games.
Oh, God.
And my heart goes out to everyone who actually
It's so difficult.
bleeds for these things,
so difficult.
for this form of entertainment, because they love it so much. So thank you for just making video games.
Good lord. Just anecdotally, I remember seeing a thread on NeoGAF where somebody was like, why don't they delete unused assets on a game disc? And it's a valid question if you've never been in game dev, like hot coffee. Like, why was that even left on the game? The answer is, there's a lot, like you said, mailbox thing, there's a lot of people making a lot of stuff, and you don't know until the last 6 months what's really can make it. And excising that stuff out of a code base is like surgery.
Yep.
Because people will just have random dependencies, and if you just move one file from one folder to another, it can blow it all up.
Yep.
So instead of messing with it and breaking everything, just like it's working,
Right.
don't touch it.
This thing I developed 9 months ago is in the game, but we have to scrap it. So I can't just hit the delete button because it actually screws up a random mission where you beat up a hooker who has the same
load-bearing code.
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
has
it
the
really
same animation.
Load-bearing mailbox.
That's
There's a lot of that stuff. It really happens.
Game development crazy.
There's when a code base is touched by 50, 100 different people, all of whom are making their own decisions in their own head, like not seeing the big picture, they make some pretty weird decisions. And those dependencies cause things to be tied together even when you don't see them in a game.
Which, going back to what Bruce was saying, that's what blows my mind about every Assassin's Creed game.
Oh, it's insane.
That there's that much content,
Yeah.
and that there's like, I forgot how many they said,
like 6 or 7 studios
something
working
like
on every
that.
game.
And they all speak different languages.
Uh-huh.
And so they-
In different time zones?
Yeah, they have like Chinese developers and French Canadian developers, and they somehow can talk to each other. And I'm like, how is the game just not this like? How did it not
Broken
become?
mess
Yeah, how did it
Yeah.
not become a space simulator shoot 'em up
Assassin's Creed's
farm
getting there.
game? Well, yeah, it might be.
I don't know. Ubisoft's AAA development, more so than any other publisher right now, is a modern miracle. I don't know how they do it. They must have the best like Jira tracking in the world. Because good lord. So speaking of tracking, my tracking did terribly on FanDuel.com.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Boy, my team just sucked balls.
I need to see how I did.
Check yours.
Oh, it was awful. Boy, oof. I think I came in like second to last in one of my leagues. And third? Actually, that was before another guy had like 2 full games to play with his roster. So, the guy who set the leaves up, Steve Gutowski,
Yeah.
he had some very, very good advice, which was to Google the players and make sure they're playing. Because one of my guys just 0 points.
Well, you know what? Fuck Arian. What's his name?
Whoa.
Because I was so pissed. He was
Oh.
supposed to play for me in my fantasy and in FanDuel, and I was like, "Oh, this guy will play. Don't Aaron Foster will play. No problem." He didn't play right before the game. He didn't play, and I spent like $8,900 on him in FanDuel, and he didn't play at all, and that really fucked me that week. Because otherwise, I had a really good team.
Okay.
So just a heads up, James and I both played with a fan. Lawrence as well. We each came in 4th, 5th, and 6th
Oh boy.
out of the 6 standings.
We're good at football.
Our fan, I believe, Steven Gudo, whatever.
Yeah, Gutowski, yeah.
Gutowski, there it is. Yeah, sorry, his name gets cut off. He won $27 from us.
Nice.
He actually
welcome,
beat
buddy.
us. The problem, actually, we found out, James and I picked players with the coolest names.
You can't do that.
I assumed a guy with the name Gore.
No.
Frank Gore's not a bad running back.
Oh, with a name like that, he better be good. But we also know nothing about football. But here's the thing: we had a fun time.
Of course,
did.
yeah, that's really
So that was actually kind of cool, and I think we're gonna do this every week. I kind of want to.
really easy.
We each just bet $5, and it's actually it made it a lot more fun this week.
Yeah.
Knowing that the games are on, and like I was just kind of tracking them on my phone, being like, wow, I'm really bad at fantasy football, and I actually kind of want to get better at it.
Yeah, it's really fun, man. It's really, really fun.
So there's something to be aware of. We had a post on the subreddit saying that the deposit match, the thing they have set up for us, apparently the money that is matched goes into like this protected thing.
Oh, right. It doesn't happen right away, right?
Yeah, and I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe that it's awarded to you in winnings. So it's not like it trickles out to you over time. Once you start winning, it comes from that reserve.
I see.
So
So it's not an immediate deposit match.
right,
Gotcha.
and you don't. They basically make it so you substantially cannot get more money just by putting money in and then pulling it back out.
Right.
So you have to play and you have to win to get your bonus money.
I see.
Is my understanding. So, but if you would like to get that bonus money and if you'd like to play, go to fanduel.com. That's FANDUEL.com. Click on the little microphone in the upper right, little orange microphone, and then type in the code GAMER. And what that will do is it will deposit match up to $200. And again, the match goes into this like protected account that you have to win your way into. But put in $200, you can get 200 magical bonus football dollars set on the side. And yeah, it's week to week, so it's not like a typical league. You don't have to lock yourself into a lineup and do like annoying trades and stuff. You just play your week and then you're out. You can jump back in another league. The more players there are, the higher the ante, the more you can win. We did a 6-man league. The buy-in was $5. The payout was what, 27? You said?
That's
Yeah.
what it ended up being.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a fun way to make football a little more interesting.
Another interesting thing about FanDuel in the case that you play fantasy football is that you can all pick the same players
Yeah.
if you wanted to. So like you would all be playing the same players against each other. Obviously, it doesn't happen that way, but you don't have to worry about like if one player, if one like Adam picks Arian Foster and then Lawrence wants to pick Arian Foster too. You're like, oh no, Adam already got him. It doesn't work that way. You could all pick the same players if you wanted to, which I thought was also a really interesting feature of FanDuel because you wouldn't have to get locked into a certain league. Either way, I really enjoyed it. I think I ended up getting either second or third in the league that I played in because Steven also started one for me too because I got knocked out by our fans.
All piled in that one.
I did better, but still not well.
Bruce was spending about 45 minutes to an hour picking his guys, whereas James and I are like, did you get like Lassell back? And he's like, yeah, I did. And we're like, let's do it. And they're like, and Bruce is like, I think he's injured. We're like, yeah, because we're idiots.
Hasselback.
I believe I picked all my guys within about 5 minutes. But like I said, I think we're gonna be doing this every week. So, hit us up if you want to do some fantasy
Take
football
our
with us,
money.
because you're gonna win.
All right. Now let's look at some fan art.
Love fan art.
Oh, fan art.
Fan art. All right. First up, got Shifty Joel. Oop.
Sorry.
Oop. There we go.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
There's a whole series of
Andreas
these.
Larson. Yeah, he did drawings of a lot of the Inside Gaming crew, but I think this is my favorite just because he's so shifty.
He's really shifty.
I liked the shiftiness of it at first, and now that I'm looking at it again, I think my favorite is the sheer size of my neck.
Wow, you shredded. Look at that.
Your crazy pointed chin.
I like how curly your curly hair is.
Also, this is accurate right here.
You look like the what's the cat from Alice in Wonderland?
Oh yeah, the Cheshire Cat.
Also, I'm wearing that shirt from the fan art right now.
That's the same shirt?
Probably, I don't know.
Because you have like 3 shirts.
And then Ruhan Sheik. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made me in
Is
3D.
that
You-
3D rendered Adam Kovic?
Yeah, it is.
Man, you look so sad. You look like your soul's
I know,
been
but let's
stripped
talk
out.
about the 3D art in front of us.
I think he looks like
Little bags under your eyes.
the Abraham Lincoln Memorial in Washington D.C.
I could be the president one
I
day,
think that's what it is.
except for all those nudes.
You look like you've seen some shit.
I have seen some shit.
Ugh.
I've shared hotel rooms with Bruce
Look like
Green.
you're pleading for
And you
just.
played Stomping Land.
I did play
That
some.
face is like, just stop.
This is a weathered man.
Stop it. Stop. Then we got GTA fan art.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh man, that's pretty good.
It's really good.
Bruce's little shorts.
Yeah.
What's in James's bag?
He's putting
The Machinima Man mask.
Yeah.
Why do we all look fat?
because it's a low
It's
angle.
perspective.
Yeah.
Also, you are fat,
I
so.
look fat.
Yeah.
We all kind of look fat.
I know.
And then James's neck is kind of like
Oh yeah.
stretching in the strange way. And that's also, it's funny because I never wear shorts, but he drew me with
Yeah.
shorts.
And a
then,
tie.
Yeah, no, it's not a tie. That's
It's
that's an
Oh,
open
that's your
shirt.
undershirt, yeah.
Oh,
Look at
It
that.
took me a while, but my favorite part is the default lens flare from Photoshop that's put in there. That actually I got a good laugh out of that.
Good job on the lens flare.
So, I really love this next one from was this Matt Dent?
Yeah.
Matt Dent. I really like this one, except for the fact that all of our heads are too big for the bodies that we're on.
I love that.
This is
I don't
very.
think it's neat, though.
Wait, that's neat.
Yeah.
I think it's neat.
That's kind of like the art style.
Is it?
Well, not the original one. I think it makes it kind of cartoony.
What is the original one? What's the original image from?
Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
He did it really good though. It's like it's really stylized and he matched it up.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
okay.
it looks
Correctly.
great. Yeah.
All right, Matt. If you're listening,
Please don't take my my critique too hard.
Oh,
Dude.
is it Rami or Matt?
Yeah,
Matt.
it's above.
Rami.
Yeah, Rami Alorfi did this one.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh, got it mixed up. Sorry.
Come
Gosh,
on.
you guys.
I asked
Come
him. I said,
on.
"Is it Matt?" And he said, "Yeah, it's Matt."
Wait, what?
The way it's laid out is confusing.
Yeah, Lauren.
Yeah, it's Rami.
It's Rami.
Alcorfi.
Sorry, Rami, not Matt Dent. Matt Dent is
Jeez.
next. But Rami,
Yeah.
who did the Reservoir Dogs thing, if you can make us with normal size heads, Joel will print this out and put it on the back of his MacBook.
Heads are pretty big. I don't know.
Shut up.
James's is pretty big, but the rest of them actually look pretty.
I kind of have a big head anyway, so whatever. Bruce's head could be a little smaller. Your head's huge
My head is big.
compared to that tiny body in the background.
Naturally. Well, I'm always walking in the back too, so. I don't know.
Regardless, I freaking love it, and Reservoir Dogs is one of my favorite movies. So good freaking job. Thank you.
Matt Dent did a little Funko Bruce. Ah,
I don't know what to say about this.
a little hairy
I
legs.
feel like I'm on like a little troll action figure. That's what it looks like to me.
No, you're one of those pop.
Yeah,
glam-
you've got two of them on your computer. It's your tower of power.
Do you think that we could make this into an action figure that people
Totally.
can buy?
Well,
I
they
would
make a
like
million
this.
of those things, so why not?
Yeah,
Sure.
So cool.
What if that's the one they say no to?
And they're like, no, that's too ugly.
You have the Hulk right there. Nope,
Too ugly.
too ugly.
Then we got the
I like
Chronicles of
Gorilla
Joe
Man.
Wood and
Oh, I haven't read this one.
and the
That's so
guests.
All right, do you want to do a dramatic reading?
Sure. Oh boy.
What do you?
I'm
Oh.
trying to zoom in. But
I don't know if you
But it's a
can.
Microsoft Surface.
Well, it's an embedded image in a Google Doc. Okay, there you go.
Oh, there we go.
All right, who will play the part of Parrot number one?
I'll do the parrot.
All right. And you're Joe Wood.
All right.
Okay.
So do furious typing. All right, I'm Joe Wood. Angry.
No, I'm Joe.
This is so loud.
Bing. Rumble. Earthquake.
Oh man.
Previously, 1 minute before.
What the hell?
Question marks. And then Bruce says,
I guess they weren't expecting guests.
bang, 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 bang.
What
Joe.
happens in that?
It's madness. It's
I'm
pure
really trying to
madness.
Figure out what happens in
He-
the comic.
I thought by reading it out loud it would make it more clear, but
No,
it
no,
actually
no.
made it more confusing.
I'm so confused by this.
The guests shoot an explosive barrel, and that causes Joe Wood's coding office to shake.
Right, but the confusing part is the barrel doesn't explode. If you've seen the Heavy Fire Afghanistan gameplay, the barrel just shakes. It doesn't actually explode.
But
Right.
this is-
But
that's
it's a
not
Joe Wood barrel.
It's not Joe Wood. It's Chaser. It's not Heavy Fire. It's Chaser.
I know.
That's the
Joe
guests.
Wood made every game that you played.
This
Did
is
you know that?
This is well, the thing I love about this is the level of fandom, because he took two different games and combined them into one comic strip that makes no sense
doesn't
whatsoever.
really make sense at
But I
all.
love everything about it because that to me describes exactly what we do.
I like his fine line work.
It is really good draw. I mean, like,
Yeah, yeah.
somebody needs to help him storyboard it.
Well, just like that one image of the guests fighting together. I love because it's like reminds me of Red Meat, that comic that was like in the Onion for a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I love
That
it.
art style.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Either way, I love everything about this.
Yeah.
It just confuses the hell out of me.
And then Brian Sofanars.
This one, I remember scrolling past this
Destiny,
on Twitter
you
and going,
guys.
like,
Where'd my eyeballs go?
like, what the fuck happened to my head? And then scrolled.
Yep. Scroll.
But he does get the level of not caring that much perfectly for inside gaming.
No, become inside.
Fuck you.
Whatever, fuck you. It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna put eyeballs. Fuck you. Who cares?
Yeah, I know. It's great. It's perfect.
I want to thank you for making me a warlock. That is my favorite class, so thank you.
Natasha Sensei, it's the first of many sketches that she's planning for Inside Gaming.
Absolutely not your name there. That's not me. That's
No, I think that's where you're going
That's
to
where
go.
your face
that's
will
where
go
I'm gonna go?
eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a work in progress.
Oh.
Before she started me, just the word Adam was there.
Just the word Adam?
And then she woke up, and then I appeared.
Are you wearing a cardigan with a button-down shirt? It looks like you've got like a nice collar with a sweater on.
It's just a V-neck.
Have you ever seen Adam smile like that before? Like this? I don't think I've ever.
Kind of serene.
This was one of those moments when I was going through the Twitter feed where I stopped and went, people are fucking drawing my
I know,
face.
it's weird.
I live in a weird world.
Really weird.
I have seen that face. That's the face Adam makes when he doesn't know how to respond to something off camera during the daily.
Oh yeah.
When Phil or Lauren says something and Adam just goes,
Yeah.
That is 100% accurate.
And you, Nolan.
Oh yeah. We're all months. This is great.
Drusol's
Great.
month.
It's so cool.
If you could look up the German monster that comes around during Christmas.
Krampus.
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 They did a Venture Brothers episode with him.
Bruce's little trash can mouth.
Bruce looks perfectly like
Yeah,
Krampus.
I really do.
It is beautiful.
I love black small
little-
square.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like
wow, I didn't
I'm
know
like
that.
swatting at it all ineffectually.
I'm strutting my butt stuff.
Yeah, Joel Hips, and then just Bruce and his tongue for some reason. I don't.
So cool.
It's so creepy.
And James is blonde, which is awesome.
Yeah.
James is always blonde.
Hey, James is always blonde. That's true.
Oh man. And the Noodle Captain, he like almost every week he submits a new fan art in some crazy new style.
That should be some sort of. That might be like a new banner at some
Yeah.
point. That's great.
We all got little egg
what I
heads.
like what we've discovered at this point, besides all the t-shirts that we wear,
Yeah.
what is Bruce wearing? What kind of t-shirt is that? Just like a red cat logo.
Batman.
Oh, it's John Dice at the end.
Oh, John, okay, yeah,
Ah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Okay, good. But I like that they get our clothes style right. What I really appreciate is when they get our beards correct.
Yeah.
They always give Bruce the little sharp,
Yeah, the split.
the sort of cowboy bebop, whatever that character, I forget his name, Jet. Kind of
Oh,
had
yeah.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got kind of the jet beard, and then I've got the full beard,
Full beard, yeah.
and then I've got the sharper, more head of hair.
Yep, you have the more defined hairline.
Yes. So I appreciate when people get that right with such a minimal art style. So thank you for getting my hair right.
You even got Lawrence's lips correct.
Oh boy.
That was
they-
that was
They
the
consume 80% of my
when
face.
I made Lawrence's Sims character.
Yeah.
First thing I went to was the lips.
a big old gorilla
I was like,
mouth.
make them big, big, sexy, crazy Joker lips.
DSL.
And then I'm really excited for Bruce to see this.
I have never seen this.
And this just
before.
went up like today.
From AA Phenom. Yeah, he actually posted 2 fan arts this week, both of which are insane.
Yeah, that's like movie poster.
So here's the thing. I wish that this is what my character looked like in Star Wars Galaxies.
Oh man.
But instead, it was a Twi'lek dancer that I let dance for 24 hours at a cantina
So you can get those tips.
so that I can get the tips. It didn't look like that. I wish it had because it's fucking awesome.
On the flight over here, Bruce and I watched Evangelion 3.33.
Oh,
The
so good.
You Cannot Redo or whatever. Asuka with an eye patch made her even more badass.
Yeah.
And Bruce with an eye patch equally just as badass. And when they also did that one art of me where I look kind of like Big Boss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
yeah.
Eye patches make people look so badass, but it sucks because you lose vision in one eye.
yeah.
It's like
Unless
Colonel.
the eye patch has a built-in camera, so you didn't really lose your
Ooh.
eye.
That's-
It just makes you look cool. And
solid
you've got,
time.
like,
Metal
eye
Gear
system.
Solid 4, the solid eye.
Also, you might want to check out the power crystals in your lightsaber because you're losing a lot of energy there.
No, it's just
Oh.
unwieldy.
Yeah,
It's
that
it's
means
so much
you
power.
can't control it.
Yeah.
It's so strong.
Oh, it's so cool.
And then sadly James isn't here to see his depiction of the Red Hood.
Yeah, with a gorilla mask
Oh yeah.
from his shirt.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it actually this upsets me because I'm the biggest Batman fan in the office, and yet James gets to be a Batman character.
Also, God, that leather jacket is way cooler than the leather jacket he has, which is a cool leather jacket.
Maybe he's drawing you as Batman.
No, oh maybe, oh that'd be amazing.
Maybe that's what we can ask him.
He draws. What if he ends up drawing me as Batman Beyond, where he has the mask on? You
Yeah.
can't tell it's me.
Just
Oh,
just a dude in a black
poor
suit.
Adam.
I'm just kidding. No, the art style's freaking amazing.
He's like,
Yeah.
it's like a, yeah, it's so good.
I love it.
Absurd.
Oh dear God, why?
And then
oh,
What the fuck?
Gagey Suarez, Saris, from the subreddit. Yep, there
wait,
it is.
here, Bruce, read this out loud.
Why am I the only one wearing underwear? Is that what I said?
with backwards threes as ease.
Wait, so did I
And
say
under-
because of naked football? Is that what we were talking about?
Was that? I don't know. And your legs aren't that big. We always
wish they were.
we always joke that your legs are skinny,
They're
but
chicken legs. Wait,
Ooh.
so why? I don't understand. What? When did I say that last
I
time?
have no idea.
I must have said that at some point.
I don't know.
this is a picture I would have drawn in 3rd grade of when if you had described what a muscle man looked like. Like this is what I'm going to be when I grow up, and like
With underwear?
yes.
Can you imagine if you in 3rd
Everything
grade
is-
and like a teacher found your sketchbook?
And then called my parents like, I think your son might be into some
really gay.
he might be into some weird.
gay.
I need some talk.
Everything is so well defined except for your abs, which means that you really need to work on your core, Bruce.
Well, your elbows. You're doing great work on your
I guess.
elbows.
Look at how shredded they are. Nice. All right, I love it.
You don't have muscles there. How'd you do that?
It's cool.
Oh,
Worked out a bunch.
Oh, Pikachu Adam.
yeah. This one confused me.
And then Wub one out. Drew Adam in a little Pikachu, little Pikachu onesie.
It's strange because I've never once professed any sort of love for Pokemon, but this is like the cutest thing in the world. So
Did you show it to your wife? She would really like it, I think.
I think so. I mean, we
Fall in love all over again.
Make love and Pikachu.
Oh, good old.
And then I had to
good old
dig for
Kip.
this one. Yeah, if Kippy she'll keep posting fan art to her Tumblr, but she won't like broadcast it out there. So I gotta dig.
Yeah, it's really,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
This one-
I like that Billy is now being included
Yo,
That's so
in the fan art. That's amazing.
My girlfriend liked that as well. She shared it with her mom,
Oh, she's like, look, Billy's being drawn.
That's really nice.
pretty much.
Bruce, did you fart?
No. Did somebody fart?
No.
I really like Bruce in this one though. His big old round beard.
Yeah, it's got kind of an Adventure Time feel
Yeah, a
to
little
it.
bit.
I really like. And then Joel's got kind of like that chibi smile, little
Aw,
anime a little
look at
bit.
that.
But it's like pseudo pixel art.
Yeah.
What I really dig, I love the whole art style. Like, I feel like if we had our own Broken Age kind of click and point adventure game,
look like that.
this is what we would look like.
Yeah, I agree.
I love Bruce's shoes. So sharp.
Oh, yeah. Shorts. I love shorts and
No
shorts.
socks.
Ah.
Fuck socks.
You got little hairy legs.
Socks.
Oh no, it's just the pixelation. It still works.
Awesome.
All right, well, that'll do it for fan art this week. Before you go, let us remind you that FanDuel.com is a place you can go to spend money and have it be taken from you by people who understand football a lot better than you do. But it's still fun. It's really, oh man, when I was recruiting about players, I imagined that they all had Pokemon-style attacks, and that while I was watching the game, I would see them like do their stupid little rush move. I can imagine like picking it from a menu.
Look, the word fantasy is already in there. Don't degrade the name any more than it has to be.
At any rate, just like an RPG, you draft up your party, and then you watch them fail.
Well,
But
no.
maybe not for you,
Yeah, not for everybody.
dear listeners.
They're probably better than you guys.
Much better, I'm sure. But, you know, as we already said, it's a week-to-week fantasy league. You can earn real money and spice up your football game. Even more than your special zesty spicy nachos, which Nature Box doesn't sell, sadly.
Why are you?
It's just combining
We're gonna have
now.
a talk after this podcast, Lawrence.
About what?
Oh, man.
FanDuel.com.
Yeah.
And go to FanDuel.com. Click on the little microphone in the upper right. Use our code GAMER, and you will get a deposit match of up to $200.
Yeah, and like I said, once again, please hit us up if you want to duel us. I think I'm allowing myself about $5 a week to bet with fans because I think it's actually kind of fun.
And
so.
also keep in mind that if you tweet us a link for a league, there are probably other fans will probably join that league and might knock us out. So you may want to like try and DM us or something like that. Sure.
Oh, and update on the Spool website thing.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have a winner yet, but I will pick one by the time this podcast goes up, and we'll blast it out to everybody. So
Cool. Yeah.
you guys have been doing some amazing work. I saw one that the mouse cursor was a giant weed leaf. So
Holy shit.
yeah, people are doing God's work on Squarespace.
Yeah.
There's some pretty impressive stuff.
And apologies if we seem tired at all during this podcast.
We are tired.
I'm confused as to what day it is right now because we went to work on Monday, shot the daily, had to get our
fried chicken.
we
Ugh.
Joel and I bonded.
Stop talking about that
over,
fried
over
chicken.
fried chicken.
So good.
Anyway, so we hopped on our flight at 5 o'clock.
Making me feel bad.
So we're kind of waiting around the airport for a few hours, all that stuff. It's a 10-hour flight, I believe, to the UK. We all tried to sleep on the plane. We all
Couldn't.
kind of in a cultish type way, all took melatonin and Z-Quil
And whiskey.
and Joel was drinking like a madman. We all sat in a row and next to each other, and we all kind of passed out in weird ways at different times. But we tried to do it at the normal time we would sleep, but We could not sleep for the love of anything. It just
guys.
it's impossible for I think any of us to sleep on a plane comfortably. So we're just kind of twisting. James is already here. That's why he's not on the podcast right now. He flew out a week early.
He's on the way.
Over there.
So yeah, he's gonna be meeting up with us soon. But anyway, we have I think we collectively maybe have gotten 30 minutes of sleep so far. And we just immediately went right into the podcast. Hence the slamming of energy drinks. And I believe this podcast is going up Thursday, right?
Yep. And today's Tuesday.
So today is Tuesday right now. Podcast will be up on Thursday, and we have our fan meetup
On Friday.
at the Princess Di Memorial. We'll put a link in the description.
I just got an email from the guy that arranged it,
And he says, what happens if somebody gets hurt? Am I held responsible? So please, if you guys are coming to the fan meetup, what? There's don't hurt anybody.
It's gonna be like 12 people and a box of popcorn.
Sure. My worry is I read a thing on the subreddit where somebody said, "Hey guys, just a reminder, let's be safe, let's be cool. We don't want to have a repeat incident." Wink. And I'm like, wait, what? And I was reading into it, and someone's like, "Oh yeah, Toby Turner came out here a few years ago, and like kids were climbing on fences, and they were bleeding, and then someone called the cops because they thought there was a riot. Anyway, Toby Turner ran away in fear. So let's not have that happen again. Like,
just come up and say hi.
yeah, I mean, this is very, it's informal, but like we're just kind of hanging out. We're just gonna kind of talk. We might do like kind of an impromptu kind of Q&A sort of thing, like." Let's just kind of hang out, make it cool. We're not, we don't want to be, we don't have our faces ripped off, please.
So we're going to spend as much time as we can getting to every single person. So we're going to say hi to every single person there. So if there's 100 people there, there's 500 people there, we will say hi to every one of you. So,
There won't be 500 people there.
So yeah, there won't be. So please, just chill.
Yeah.
Well,
And so,
that'll be a big
and we're
deal.
doing about an hour of that. We're all hanging out, and then afterwards we're moving over to kind of a pub crawl. So if you guys know any somewhat empty bars on a Friday night that we can fit a good amount of you guys in, so we can all hang out. And I don't know if we're gonna buy a round for everybody, but either way, we should have a good time. So
nice.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for having us here. We're super excited
Yay.
to meet all you guys. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and I think we're gonna get some sleep right now
Yeah.
while Lawrence edits this very podcast. Thank you,
Can I do it
Lawrence.
tomorrow?
No.
Huh? Only half of those.
So he typically does his podcast live.
I am not sure.
I think he probably just records it and puts it on YouTube.
That's what I was.
Yeah, but
It's a long
that's
haul.
fine.
Yeah, it's a long haul.
We have $1 trillion in the bank. We're fine. We can buy World War II again.
It's a similar problem with competitors for Twitch.
So
it's like special promo money.
Is it a new 50 people every week? Do we know,
You know,
that? Do we know yet?
They keep sending me the ad copy, and every time it's
How the engine can scale and all these things. And then the next complaint is everyone's complaining about the story or lack of story. I'm not through it, but we're already kind of